Alright, everybody. Here we are in the dew. We're starting all anew Stardew Valley. So what was I doing? Okay, so I got 32,000 money. Anyway, my game spontaneously died. Okay, if I have one complaint about this game, holy crap, could they split the buttons up a little? A little bit. A little helper. Okay. You know, picking up all these cranberries is a very difficult chore. So that's what we've been doing this week. Are we having a good day, bad day, average day? Oh right, I got the chicken coop. We get cows. Pet the cow. Pet the cow. Pet the cow. Pet the cow. Take hay. Use hay. Okay, so we're gonna need chickens. Do I have to feed the chickens too then? Chat? Oh, Claude. Do I need to feed the chickens and the cows? Well, I should check something that I haven't been checking. Eggplant, pumpkin, yam. Eggplant, yam. Where's the pumpkin? Eggplant, pumpkin, yam. Oh, that's right, we got all those big-ass pumpkins planted right there. Well, you know what I should do then? Here, let's pick up a bunch of wood and stone and hardwood. I don't think I'll need anything else. We're gonna do the kitchen expansion. That way I can have a bigger kitchen. Because I'm good for it. I'm financially solvent and all that, you know? Yeah, it's 6:30 a.m. for me. I mean, none of this stuff's needed. Oh, wait. Did I not do the fall... foraging bundle? Oh, shoot. We're gonna have to go do that. Is this foraging? Yeah. Hazelnut. What do you mean, why am I sitting on 32k gold? Why would I not be sitting on 32k gold? Exotic foraging bundle. That one's easy to do. Spring foraging, winter foraging. Okay, so these won't be hard to do. Okay. So then that leaves us you. The fall crops, the artisan. Artisan's not going to be hard to do either. Animal. Oh, we're going to have to get ducks. Wait, wool? Goats? What do you mean my farm is empty? My farm is massive. Biggest goddamn farm I've ever had in my life. People come up to me. They say, wow, have you seen that farm? And then the farm is just so big. The farm is so big that people, they don't even know. Okay. That we're now doing, we have a kitchen. Yeah, Stephens, you're pretty late. Stephens, isn't this when you literally go to sleep? I'm still scared to play this game because I think I'll get lost in it for a couple months. What? Why does that make you scared? But I was like, I don't want to play this game. I might like it too much. Wait, what is this? There's all that ore over there. How do I get this bridge to be fixed? I want that bridge. I want it, Chad. Okay, well, I don't know why I'm collecting all this moss, but at any rate, we should go down south because we need to go get chickens. Dude, I forged so much, and I'm only like forging rank 6. How is that possible, Chen? How is the greatest forger this world has ever known only forger level 6? Well, it could be possible in case everybody, well, died. Could just be that in this universe no one ever forged. There's never a great forger, you know? Like maybe there was never a great canoeer. And all the canoes. Huh. What yeah, can you get in your thing? Sell me some animals? Can you Leia? 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 Leia, can you get in there and sell me some animals? Leia? 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 Well, I got ripped off. Now what do I do, Chad? I was gonna go get chickens today. I suppose I'm working on the house. Getting us a kitchen. I mean, getting me a kitchen, Chad. You guys aren't getting made any food. Does this only get rebuilt? Oh my god, there's beer bottles down there. Ah, the bus driver must have done it. Official cap, watermelon band, straw hat, soy wister, lucky bow, good old cap. We're not marrying anybody, chat. We didn't make this farm to attract women. We made it for ourselves, chat. We did it all for ourselves. What does moss even do for me? Why am I collecting it all? Abigail is also a good wife since she gives you with bombs often. Why would I want that? Chat, do we look like a violent people? Hold on. Hold on, chat. I need to go grab my coffee. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Hello, Scragger. Scragger, there's nothing more manly than managing a farm. Is that not the most manly thing? Isn't that what everyone ascribes to being? Isn't that your reason for existence? To eventually get rich enough to retire onto your grandpa's old farm and through hard work and labor eke out a meek income? It's decent enough coffee. I hope. You hear the White House banned straws, paper straws. So is she just not gonna sell many chickens all day? Is she just not gonna be in her house all day? Plan to see a lot of that, Mr. See, I'm in a conundrum here because I don't understand the difference between Chinese, Korean, and Japanese letters. So I only have a 1/3 chance of getting it right or he'll be mad. So I'm going to say Mr. Asian letters. Plan to see a lot more of that in 3 days. In 3 days. 3 days. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I actually need to related to that. Sorry, Ma. I had to do a question about something that was actually semi-official. That's fine for now. Oh, I see the worms. I see the worms. Okay, are those Korean letters, by the way? I'm just blind guessing. Am I drinking? So it's a coffee, effectively. It's coffee, but I have cinnamon, sugar, and cream. I feel like, and this, like, as someone who only just looks at the letters a lot, Korean tends to be more like, I don't know a better way to put it, that. That's not good for my blood sugar? Probably not. I have a family history of diabetes, but I have low blood sugar, so I actually do need sugar. Because, my body doesn't produce enough. But then, if I have too much, then my body totally shuts down, and I die! People say a lot of fun and awful thing. I didn't mean to be awful. It's just like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like mentally, it's like human pattern recognition. It just looks like that. You know? It's like if I looked at Skrillex, I'd know there's a difference between like English and Russian just because of the letters, you know? Even though they're very similar. Chinese history is, sorry, not Chinese history, Korean history is really weird because they were a very expansionist kingdom back in, my gut tells me 200 to 300 AD. And then there was like that mountain range above Korea. And it was like, they couldn't really get past the mountain range too easily. Although they tried a few times. And then it was like nearly 2,000 years ago, they just said, fuck it. And they just stopped ever expanding, ever. And just became, well, the Hermit Kingdom. I don't think Korea got conquered by China. They just, so the Chinese-Korean relationship is very odd because I remember, I haven't read about it a lot, but the few bits I've read about it are basically that because Korea has this mountain range and a very big kingdom, the Chinese kingdom to their left, they just became a vassal state, but it was more of a tributary than a vassal state, and also the tributary bit is exaggerated. And then the few bits of time that Korea actually did need help against militaristic neighbors was basically Japan again, and that was about it. I think, let me think here, even when the Manchu conquered China for Qing, hold on here, let me think. Okay, I'm just doing this all off the top of my head. When the Manchu conquered China and became the Qing dynasty, I'm very certain Korea just continued to be a tributary. Nothing bad happened. I think when the Mongols, did the Mongols have a Korea campaign? I'm looking this up now. This is not off the top of my head. They did. Okay, so there was Japan, Mongols, Japan. That was it. And both times Japan invaded, China did defend Korea. So it wasn't like, a lot of people forget about it, but it was during the 1600s. Japan actually did conquer, well, attempt to conquer Korea. And Korea had, that's where they get their turtle ship and the whole Admiral, what's his name, thing comes from. Because they had the one Korean admiral who was like really good at repelling the Japanese, because the Japanese Navy was like, I don't want to say incompetent, just like Admiral Yi. I was going to say that. the Japanese Navy was just so arrogant to the point of incompetence, I think is the best way to put it. Like, they just truly in their hearts didn't believe that the Korean Navy could possibly stop them, and they kept doing the dumbest shit imaginable. But during that time period, and this is why I'm going to disagree with Scragger here. Korea 100% would have been conquered by Japan if it wasn't for China. China barged in and... I'm trying to remember here. I think the Japanese managed to win while outnumbered a few times, but it became... From what I remember, it became rapidly apparent that the Japanese could not possibly repel another giant Chinese army. So, I don't think Korea so much got conquered. They became a tributary for sure, but definitely China upheld their end of the bargain and did keep them independent. Oh, well, 9 farming. Oh, I got the iridium sprinkler. Neat. Yeah, the Korean Navy just... Yeah. It just seems to be that the... It just seems to be that the Japanese Navy just completely did not believe they could possibly lose to Koreans. And they made the dumbest fucking maneuvers humanly possible, seemingly doing stupid shit just to prove how stupid they could be and still win. Basic sprinkler farms look so ugly. I'm gonna get rid of these after we move up. There was also, I'm actually trying to think here as well. China, for a bit of time, did actually do their part of being the... What do they call it in Asia? The older brother nation? They did do their part for a bit of time in keeping Asia relatively independent. It's just when... Well... Well, yeah, even with Admiral Yi breaking apart some Japanese navies, they still had their armies landed. The Chinese armies were essential. In fact, if I look this up, it's 1592, my bad. Imjin War. Oh no, it was 2? Oh, okay. They did actually use guns, by the way. I'm looking this up because I'm legitimately... Okay, yeah, the biggest issue, Japan invaded Korea while the Ming dynasty was also fighting the Mongols. And all their actual firepower was going to fighting the Mongols. So actually the data I'm listing is all Ming sent over 100,000 to defend Korea. The total number engaged at any point in time was never more than 60,000. Yeah, Asia was kind of blowing up at that point in time. A lot of people forget about that. Yeah, okay, I'm actually reading. That's just off Wikipedia, but I mean, I could look at their sources here. Wikipedia is like 50-50 on whether or not their sources are good. Sometimes they're pretty bad, mind you. War and Two Fronts. Well, the article I'm listing is that the Ming dynasty was engaged with the Mongols at the time. And remember, this is post-Ming stupidity. So, like, this is when the Ming have basically shot themselves in the gut 5 times for absolutely no reason. If you guys want to read up on that. The reason why China fell wasn't really... the reason why China fell wasn't really, like, any European anything. It was because they just shot themselves in the gut, like, 5 times for absolutely no goddamn reason. They sank their navy. They implemented the dumbest goddamn laws against settling on the coast. It was the dumbest shit. So, the Ming dynasty, that's China, because, you know, we're going to call it dynasties this time. Ming was battling the Mongols and then also had to repulse Japan. And actually, okay, this is why I'm actually, before I go too far off topic, this is why I'm going to disagree with Scragger, because the tributary system from China, I remember one point in time, it was the Portuguese took, the Portuguese took Malaya, and the Ming dynasty once again went up and was like, no, you can't do that. What's my chicken? I'm gonna call it Cluckers. So I can think of, at the very least off the top of my head, 2 different times where Ming actually did defend Asia, at the very least to keep their tributary system afloat. But then again, after they sank their navy and had a completely irrational response to Japanese pirates, their ability to project power went to 0. And then the Qing dynasty is not, let's say, Qing dynasty doesn't have a good reputation so far as maintaining technological advances. Chicken. Because I'm actually reading that China was able to field so much as 400 primitive artillery against the Mongols, whereas then Qing, chicken named Sus, Qing dynasty did anything? Well, that's actually something my dad, now he would have only learned about history during the 1960s, 70s, 80s, when you had to actually like read books and information was much slower due to no internet. But I remember he had a theory that is actually maintaining to be true. So his 30-year-old theory is still keeping relevance here, that a major reason for Europe's success was the Mongols, because the Mongols never got deep into Europe. They only beat the shit out of Eastern Europe, whereas the Mongols obliterated China, obliterated all of Islam, effectively. The later Mongols, the Mughals, if you want to call them Mongols, they were just Turks. But later on, the Mughals, they're not actually Mongols, by the way, they're Mughals. The British have fucked us once again. But the Mughals, who were a Turkish conqueror into India, stagnated the shit out of India. So the Mongols fucked over China, India, the Middle East, everywhere except Europe, really. Kuko. I'm gonna call it Kuko. Kuko the chicken. Dude, I swear to God, half of the weird words we have in English are because of the goddamn British. Take the Ottomans, right? Ottomans weren't called Ottomans. It was because the Arabs called them Utmans, and then the English heard Utman and were like Ottoman, and then they spread that word to all of Europe. So then all of Europe knew them as the Ottoman dynasty. That was Utman. Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't really like the foot binding. The foot binding is the one thing that Qing dynasty tried to do. Zappy the chicken. If anyone doesn't know, there was the, let's say, extremely bad practice of the foot binding in China. And it was actually the Manchu, the Qing dynasty, that tried to end it. But the native Chinese were like really adamant, like 100%, that they needed foot binding. And so because Qing was already kind of like an outside invader, they gave up on it because they wanted to maintain control, so they let them maintain it. But a lot of people do forget, without the whole century of humiliation, without the century of humiliation, China and East Asia in particular could, I mean, to be honest, the entire, if you actually know history, Europe conquering like 90% of the world was such a weird series of fuck-ups that, like, if you understood the whole history of it, it just doesn't, it's like the luckiest shit you've ever seen in your life. Like, holy fuck. There's the Britain conquers India. Why do they conquer India? Because it was a fucking trading company. How did they manage to do it? Because the Mughal dynasty was being obliterated because they were a foreign invader that eventually people were tired of. So then you had the Marathi Confederation, who were some tribe, and they weren't very powerful either. So the Marathi Confederation comes through, blows up the Mughals, and then you got the British, these trading, they do this 2-to-1 over and over again. They take two Indians that they have as vassals, and they're like, combine with us and we'll conquer this one guy. Then they go to that guy and another guy, and they go, combine with us. Well, and they just do this over and over until they've conquered all of fucking India. How does that even happen? Holy shit. Then you got China. Why does China fall apart? So there's a century of humiliation, but they still, Chinese technology barely advanced in those 200 years. The whole problem, Scrag, and this is why I say they shot themselves in the gut 7 times, because, okay, so those of you guys who don't know, okay, so tell me if this seems like a rational response to you. So basically, you've got Japanese pirates, right? And Japan's on an island, so it's kind of hard to deal with because they're on an island. It's, at this point in time, it's still pretty hard to invade an island, right? The Mongols tried twice, didn't really work. So they got Japanese pirates sailing around pirating Chinese goods. Now, what is China do? What is China do? Should we build up a coast guard? Should we try to defend against the pirates? Should we just let it happen and just accept losses? No, and I shit you not, this is what they've done. They sank their entire navy and then put an edict where everyone had to live 100 miles from the coast, shutting down all trade. What? Now, I should mind everybody, this is right after, and a lot of people forget about this, at the time where you got Portugal going east, the Ming dynasty starts to go west. They build a trade fleet. They sail down through Malaya up to India. They get all these riches and everything. The Chinese government now knows, guys, if we control the waters and do a shitload of trade, it'll make us a lot of money. And then they sink their navy and make everyone move away from the coast. Have you ever read any of these old history where, like, you have China conquers, well, not conquers, but let's say colonizes California and West America and stuff like that? That's why it's actually quite plausible they could have done that. Because, like, they were well on their way to actually establishing colonial power. Bee house. Song dynasty did well. Ming dynasty did well before they shot themselves in the gut. Again, a lot of people don't think about it, but when Japan invaded into Korea, the Japanese had guns bought from the Portuguese. The Koreans had guns bought from the Portuguese. China had more primitive, but they still had firearms and primitive artillery and things like that. And that was during the late 1500s, early 1600s, right? So, like, there was no reason. Yeah, China could have been behind Europeans, but there was no reason that, like, East Asia had to fall hundreds of years behind. Like, they didn't need to do that. Did I just sit it here? Okay. But again, because China was the only Asian... Well, you also have to remember this too. Oh boy. So one of the reasons that Southeast Asia, there was Indochina, and then there's Indonesia. Indochina, that's where you're thinking modern day Cambodia. What's the other one? Burma. What's between Cambodia and Burma? Thailand, there we go. Those areas. So there were a bunch of kingdoms down there, but they actually just kind of happened to break up and die. It was a bit like all the timing of like Europe conquering the world is so funny because like it just happened to work out perfectly for them. All the kingdoms down there just happened to break up and fight each other. Then down in Indonesia, there was Majapahit. Majapahit was another empire that controlled most of those islands. They just kind of broke up right as the Portuguese got through. And then Japan starts buying guns, then they decide to die for some fucking reason. Japan pulls a Ming and just decides they're just not gonna do anything with anyone. You guys be really good with geography. Yeah, map games will do that for you. You have to remember, if you play Paradox games, they're not entirely 100% accurate, so don't take it like that. But like, it gives you a good idea, at the very least, of geography and of different time periods. So for example, the 1444 time date was chosen for EU4 specifically because it's right as all these kingdoms and shit are dying that let Europe be triumphant. They're doing a 1337 start date for EU5. That one will be a bit more interesting because here, if I look at this one, isn't perfect. Don't take this to be perfect, but it's better. Yeah, it's not perfect, but if you look at this one, yeah. If you look at this one, you can see that their 1337 start date, everything's pretty much broken up. Although, actually, how are they going to deal with India? It is 1337, right? Well, I think... Oh, you know what? No, they are just having India start united. How are they going to do that? Well, they have Vijayanagara. Actually, I want someone... Where's Prudis? Is it Vijayanagara or Vijayanagar? Because Paradox always calls it Vijayanagar, but everywhere else I look, it's Vijayanagara. I remember reading the history of these people. They used a sort of proto-propaganda. They were one of the only remaining independent Hindu states. And so they used this, like, propaganda. They weren't really that big of, like, a Hindu power. They were just a South Indian power. But they, like, proclaimed to everyone that they were, like, the last remaining independent Hindu power. And it actually worked pretty well for them for a time. And a lot of people ended up being, like, super loyal and joining them, etc., etc. They did well for a bit. They'll probably get content, right? Because they're like... yeah. That's a cultures. Subtropical. Isn't subtropical bad? Is this the only game where they don't make India outrageously overpowered? Delhi should have a huge debuff, right? Because I know the Mongols have a huge debuff. If you do like... Hold on, I'm looking it up. Sorry, my Korean friend. They don't seem to have spent much time on Korea. And whenever I see India, you feel a bit conflicted that the birthplace of Buddhism didn't accept Buddhism. Well, I think we can safely say there's a lot of historical evidence that pacifist religions tend to not do so well. I got the interesting thing about China. No, Delhi should, if we're talking about historical, they should have a collapse, a resurgence, then a collapse again. Oh, no, wait. No, doesn't it? It starts big, then it collapses, then it resurges, then it gets Timur-laned, and then it resurges again, and then it collapses it fully. Christianity is not a very pacifist religion. If you actually look at historicalness, Jainism got completely, for the most part, wiped out of India because Hinduism came through and just, well, you might not believe this, but the warlike religion conquered the pacifist religion. I know. Blows my mind too. What are we doing here? Okay, so there's nothing to harvest. I pet all the animals, right? How do I not remember if I do this every single time? Yeah, I did. Okay. And I should have... Well, let's let the chickens out. Yeah, Jainism was dominant over the Indian subcontinent for a bit. But once Hinduism started to spread, the Hinduist people just, well, conquered them. Because they were pacifist. And didn't really like war. Which, you know... Yeah. Let's see, we got corn to sell, cranberries to sell. Presumably there has to be some debuffs, Scragger. Mamluks should be debuffed as hell. I'm getting rid of the basic sprinklers, chat, but there's no reason to get rid of them so long as I have corn. What was I gonna say? The Mamluk dynasty should basically be getting wiped out in Egypt. The China's about to have a bunch of issues. Honestly, it should be France. The nation I'm most worried about being overpowered is the French. Historically accurate for France to be overpowered during that time period, but I'm not really sure how anyone deals with it, because unless England gets like giga buff to hell to completely slow them down, the French kind of have like all the best land in Western Europe and a shitload of people. Well, they're gonna have to do something really good to buff the English. Because if we're just going off... Let me look this up because I'm actually legitimately curious. England should have absolutely nowhere even close to the French population, right? This is 1300s England. You guys are mud farmers. You're better in every way. The Norman nobility wanted to rule France instead of England because England was shit farmers. Didn't you guys literally have a civil war because you lost the 100 Years' War? And all the nobility was pissed off. All they had to rule was England and not France. Wasn't, unless I'm misremembering here, wasn't Aquitaine alone, Southwest France, more money, like more income than the entirety of England? Am I misremembering that? Scragger would know this. The Normans tried to conquer France. They did really well, but everyone stopped them. A lot of people... Okay, so... Oh, boy, this is the part of history that a lot of people don't know. Basically, the 100 Years' War, England was far more, like, united and far more, like, centralized and powerful. France was shitty and had spent a lot of time. So, like, the precursor to the 100 Years' War was the French kings realizing their realm was shitty and very decentralized, and they basically had absolutely no power. And so they were trying to unite their realm and oppose the English. And they had almost gotten rid of them, by the way. And calling them English, we really mean Normans here. So it was the French trying to kick out the other French who also happened to rule England. But anyway, so the 100 Years' War started, and the French kings had spent most of the last hundreds of years trying to depower the English, right? But their realm was still shitty and weak and useless. And most people, I believe, didn't they back up? I mean, Castile backed up France. Where did Aragon go? Aragon. I think the Pope backed up France. Most people backed up France because it was politically savvy to not allow France to be united with England into a super realm under competent rulers. They wanted to keep France led by the French under incompetent rulers. And so a lot of people opposed the English. The unfortunate downside, if you want to call it that, is through having the 100 Years' War. Through having the 100 Years' War, France managed to actually start to centralize and unite. And that's why after the 100 Years' War, France started to beat the shit out of everyone because they became a centralized realm with their giga population and started to beat everyone. Joan of Arc was a huge symbol. I don't think she actually led any, like, she didn't tactically lead any battles. She was just like, hey, France, go kick the shit out of the English. And then they did, because they kind of just outnumbered them. And sometimes in history, it just takes someone telling you to go beat the shit out of people for you to remember, oh yeah, we like outnumber them and have way better soldiers. Let's just go do that. I have like nothing to do during my days, chat. What the heck? And yes, I'm being dead serious. A lot of times in history, people outnumber their enemies and have better soldiers, and yet they'll still be losing until someone's like, yo, why don't we just go kick their ass? Yeah, I did pet them. So she did revigorate France simply because, like, the French were very demoralized at that time period. And actually getting France to go kick the shit out of the English was really beneficial to them. New achievement, monoculture. I don't know what that means. Okay, we're pulling gold star pumpkins. Yeah, we're still selling corn. So my understanding of the situation was that Joan of Arc was like, let's go attack. And the French generals were like, that is also a good idea. And then they phrased it as being Joan of Arc's idea so that then they could proclaim that God had given them this plan and therefore it was a good idea. If that makes sense to you. Where are my chickens? I did pet them all, right? I keep forgetting that I have to double check. Do chickens need water? Do they like water? Should I give them water? Where's the fourth chicken? I only pet 3. Shit, they blend right in. Wait, I got 4 chickens, didn't I? Wait, now there's 4. Wait, which one did I not pet? Yeah, that's basically the big thing. Is that the French had a better army that was also larger than the English. You found this in a drawer somewhere. A beer? Okay. The French had a larger and more trained army than the English, but the English had a lot more morale and determination to actually use it. By that point in time, the French were still dumb. French, okay, so a lot of people don't understand why the French were dumb. The French were dumb because of chivalry and because they were really fucking stubborn. And The problem is chivalry and like the French way of fighting basically assumed their enemies were gonna be either as stupid as them or way worse at fighting. And French kings weren't really willing to accept, I don't know a better way to put it, they weren't really willing to accept that the English were as good as fighting as they were. So they took the dumbest fucking battles imaginable to prove their worth under chivalry. In other words, what is that one battle the English can't stop talking about forever? Where the French knights were attacking... The French knights were attacking the English longbows. So the English longbows got in a swamp, put up pikes, got on top of a hill and waited. And the French, rather than do the sensible thing of, let's not attack them. That was it. Their whole plan was to not attack them. They got off their horses, ran through the swamp, went uphill, and got shot down the whole time. And I know what you're thinking. You can't be serious. Oh, I'm deadly serious. I can't actually... Wait, no, I can't do this yet. Doesn't sound very French of them. I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of French history, contrary to popular belief, is being so much better at fighting than anyone else that they can do the dumbest shit imaginable and still win. That's why when they fail, it sounds outrageously stupid, because they just sort of got used to beating people with the dumbest shit. Are you still building that? Okay, so we need more money, but we have nothing to harvest. Oh wait, no, we did get pumpkins. Right. One of my most favorite examples is to give to people is that the French arrived to defend Byzantium against the Turks. Got off the boats. Got off the boats to defend Byzantium, walked up to the defender of the walls, stared him dead in the eyes, stares him in his soul, and asks the very important question, so when are we attacking? The Greek general goes, are you fucking serious? Why the fuck would we attack? And the French go, bro, we have to charge. We're getting in there. We're charging, right? And the Greek general goes, no! So the French get back on the boat and sail away. Mind you, they were outnumbered 10-1. Just wanna emphasize that. I think certain powers will get used to being so much better than everyone that it can be like, oh my god. Okay. Well, shit. I was 4,500 gold. And 119 blackberries? Can I go buy that shit back? Okay. What was I gonna say? I'm gonna run my controller. What was I gonna say? I think a lot of powers historically have issues when they're no longer the dominant power. They often won't really relearn anything. The French did a decent job, at least until the 1800s, like relearning combat. The Spanish never pulled it off. The Turks never pulled it off. The British relearned combat a few times. Then again, the British were... I can't really think of any times the British were behind. They just sort of stayed on the verge of top tier combat, tactics, technology, etc. There was a time they get mocked by Napoleon. No, it wasn't Napoleon, it was Bismarck. What did he say? Hold on, I need to look this up. Yeah, Bismarck, who said if the English ever landed troops in the mainland, he'd have the police arrest them. Okay. Well, wait. What? Huh. What do I do with the kitchen? Oh yeah, I only know one recipe apparently. Oh no, we know a couple. What is that? Miner's tree. It's just a... okay. The French Revolution made so many advancements in everything that a lot of people don't really know how much of the modern world is owed to the French, ironically. The standardization of measurements in meter, that's French. Conscription, French. Here's one not a lot of people think of. The Christianity was basically used as a method of control. And the idea that kings were put down here by God to rule over us was, you know, a thing from then. That's why I didn't really like the Bible getting translated, because then people could read it and be like, hey, that's not written in the Bible. And the French are the first people to be like, hey, let's just like, I don't know, kill our king. And people were like, no, you can't do that. God's gonna smite you. And they were like, no. So they killed their king and God didn't smite them. And every power in Europe was like, gulp. So in the fridge can be used in cooking without it being in your inventory. Oh, I see. European monarchy relied heavily on Christianity. By the way, this is actually why Protestantism rose. It all makes sense when you actually stop to know everything. But one of the reasons that Protestantism rose so quickly and easily is a lot of the local powers did not want to pay taxes to the Pope. And so under Protestantism, you didn't have to pay taxes to the Pope because you weren't Catholic. So a lot of them were like, oh wow, we should definitely be Protestant now. God told me to not pay taxes. But yeah, I mean, you have to remember back then, only, like, the Bible was only written in Latin. And, the Bible was only written in Latin. Only the nobility could speak Latin. Latin was seen as this, like, godly language, etc., etc. So they had this, like, divine right to rule. So you couldn't overthrow them. And everybody needed a king, right? And then, during the French Revolution, that idea kind of got tested. Shown to not be true, let's say. French foreign policy during the Napoleonic Wars was also really bad. Like, really bad. The French basically made an enemy out of literally everyone, held on to exactly 0 allies, and then fought all of Europe repeatedly. Then the few allies they did have, they tended to invade for some reason. Now, I assure you, we're not doing, like, a modern day meme. That's actually what they did. Okay, do I already have the stairs and I'm just blind or something? What's happening here? After they kind of mutilated their king, the other monarchies of Europe invaded the shit out of them because they were terrified of the idea of the people learning that they could just, you know, murder a king and get away with it. So the French Revolution, although they had the ideas of conscription and were able to field pretty strong, well, at the very least big armies, the French Revolution was both fighting the shit out of itself and all its enemies. And they did okay for a time, but yeah, eventually that's why they fell to Napoleon. Because they very much needed someone who could fight all of Europe. But again, you have to remember, the French antagonized the Turks for no reason and invaded Egypt? Question mark? They invaded Spain, they invaded... I mean, what did French want? What did the French want? Okay, so they wanted the lowlands to have the natural borders. They wanted the Rhine, again, to have their natural borders. They wanted... Yeah, a lot of reasons that the French were spread so thin is they invaded Egypt overseas while not really having the capabilities of retreating or resupplying their army. This was seen as kinda dumb. And I should mind you, it's not like the Turks joined the coalition. The Turks are just sitting there and they sprinted in to invade Egypt because they wanted Egypt. So it wasn't like the revolution itself was entirely altruistic anyway. They wanted to conquer Egypt. One of those weird things of life. But Napoleon had to flee, left his entire army in Egypt because they didn't have the naval capabilities of getting it out. Was Egypt a country back then? It's complicated. So basically, something a lot of people don't know is even though the Ottoman Empire at its height seemed really powerful, the reality of the situation is they'd never properly integrated Egypt. Egypt was actually a vassal, not an actual, like, let's say, fully integrated core part of the empire. And that's A, how it fell out so easy. And that's B, why despite being that powerful, the Ottoman armies and the Ottoman capabilities for war never actually seemed to go up. They could field 200,000 troops, and they could field 200,000, and then they conquered a lot, and they could field 200,000, and then after that they could field 200,000 after conquering, and then they could field, they never went up. Because their core integrated lands were a bit of the Balkans and Anatolia. Even once they conquered Hungary, they never actually integrated Hungary. They called it Transylvania, and they made it a vassal state. In fact, they even had the same thing with the Balkans as well. They never fully integrated Serbia, Wallachia, Moldavia. They just let them exist as semi-autonomous states. You know, I'm never gonna kill 2 squid people. I can barely find one. That's him. If you ever wonder why Ottoman rule never seemed to do that much, it's because they had a very weird habit, at least for the times, of not really integrating the land they conquered and just sitting on them and taxing them, which was far from normal, let's say, for the time. It's because, so whether or not you want to call it tolerance or not, the thing is, under Islamic law, they could tax, basically, if you were an Abrahamic religion, but not actually Islamic, you couldn't serve in the army, but you had to pay a special tax to not be able to be drafted. So what the Ottomans did is they intentionally did not try to convert Christians or Jews, so that then they could tax them extra. Oh, wait, I got both of them. Imagine that. The Romans had a very expansionist policy, let's say. I forgot I can just use the minecart. Is the Ottoman Empire making a comeback? Well, according to Erdogan, any day now. Just wait, guys. He's gonna make it. It's gonna be the greatest empire you've ever seen. Just wait. Just wait. So I pet the animals, right? We killed the squids. Oh, shoot. She wanted a pumpkin and I sold every pumpkin. Uh-oh. Well, this is awkward. Did I not save any pumpkins? Uh-oh. That's not good. We don't have time to grow a new one. Do you know the answer? Because, like, from the perspective of everyone else, isn't Egypt just a line of cities along a river surrounded by only desert? Why do people want that shit? A shitload of food. B, because it was like an ancient civilization. It was way more developed than anything else around it. A lot of people get their history from video games, which are pretty decent at showing why things happened. But one thing in particular video games are very poor at showing is it is very costly, time-intensive, and difficult to just build up new land. And while it did happen historically, you have to remember that most monarchs were not even half as competent as people who have the knowledge of, like, foresight. Most of them just did not even try to rule their land effectively. So a lot of land that was shitty would just stay shitty forever. And Egypt was built up and just, you know, why not rule over Egypt? And then you've got built up very rich land. Now, of course, you can say, that, oh, but nowadays Ukraine makes more food. Sure. But, you know, they have to do that, is the thing. Like, someone had to develop Ukraine, build it up, etc., etc. Otherwise, back then, it was just steppe land for the most part. Well, the problem is, the overpopulation issues from Egypt. They aren't exactly, let's say, high-skilled labor. They also have a mentality that might not be too useful to non-Islamic societies. Didn't I need these eggs for... I guess not. I thought I needed them for... Yeah, egg. Oh, it's large egg or duck egg. Damn it. Didn't Egypt... I'm gonna check this. Didn't Egypt, like, vote in the... Yeah, they literally voted in the Muslim Brotherhood. They finally got democracy, and then they voted in the Muslim Brotherhood. So that was... dumb. Korea has a lot of societal issues right now. They have... Korea has issues with... Oh boy, this is just off the top of my head. They have extremist... So like, okay, you guys think like the anti-woke grifters have it bad now? Like, holy shit, the Korean, let's say, anti-woke, but I think there it's the anti-feminist grifters are fucking crazy. A big reason a lot of those gacha games and things come over and are starting to be made simply, oh god, it's interesting. Yeah, that thing Muhao, holy shit. There, I was reading an article about some South Korean artist, and she was just making like art for a gacha game, and one of the female characters just like happened to be doing like she's going like that or something. Like she wasn't trying to make it a feminist symbol. It was just like kind of lazily the hands were just kind of positioned like this, which kind of made this, which is seen as like a feminist symbol in Korea, and she got death threats and shit all over and needed like an armed escort to work, and like her job needed to like weigh in firing her or not because like they were getting like shitloads of hate and stuff. Let me go get water. I'll be right back. Stephens, what the fuck? What the fuck happened with the Philippines? You guys arrested Duterte or whatever his name was? When did you guys even vote him out? I'm honestly not sure China gives much of a shit about Korea. In fact, truth be told, I think at this point, China would probably want Korea united under the South. I'm not sure North Korea is a fantabulous partner. They seem to not add much value to anything. Let's see, I pet all the animals. We have nothing to sell. We have infinite money. Do I build something? Wait, when it becomes winter, does all the grass die? Should I chop it now before it becomes winter? How does that work? Because like starting to get pretty late. Anyone? Do we know? It does disappear. Oh, okay, so why did you guys tell me not to chop it all then? Remember everyone thought... I've got to be honest with you. I think China, over the last decade, has become way more interested let's say, in maintaining world order and has become way less interested in trying to disrupt the world order. I think China has kind of realized that free trade and all that is extremely beneficial. And when North Korea was making a big stint like 5-6 years ago, I'm gonna have to go ahead and assume that China sat them down and was like, shut the fuck up. Because then they kind of just got quiet and never made us pay again. I'm not sure what China can even do with North Korea. It's not like South Korea can take them. What am I doing here? Nothing. I think you would need to reintegrate North Korea, but you'd have to do it like very slowly, or else you'd get an East Germany type situation. All right, we need copper, clay, stone. Well, I think, my gut feeling is China's not going to invade Taiwan. In the past, I feel like China was like hyper aggressive about it. I mean, they did take Hong Kong, but I feel like Hong Kong has kind of been like, what's the right way to put this? I feel like taking Hong Kong was really big for them. And since then, they've kind of not done anything. What am I doing? Right. Copper, clay, wood. Was it? No, it was clay, copper, clay. I think China, ever since the Korean War, has been very hesitant to get involved in anything. Whether or not people want to believe it, China was not too happy with the Korean War. A lot of people don't know this, but like when people think China and the Korean War, they think the huge human wave attacks, and they're like, China's willing to do any... No, they're not. China was not exactly happy with the human wave attacks because they weren't even supposed to be human wave attacks. Because China knew, they understood that they couldn't really match the US Army in the field. So they went to Russia and was like, Russia, help us. And Russia was like, well, I guess at the time the USSR was like, what do you want? China was like, well, we want to make tanks, we want to make planes, we want to modernize our army. And the USSR was like, understood, absolutely not, go fuck yourself. And China was like, okay. And the USSR was like, well, get in there, guys. Go fight the Americans. And China was like, not without air support and tank support. And they were like, okay, we will give you tanks. Ah, fuck, it was stone. We will give you tanks and we will give you planes to support you. And China was like, okay. So China rolls in with its human wave attacks, and the USSR is like, yeah, we're not getting involved. We don't want to make this a huge issue. So China is now committed. They do their human wave attacks. They get slaughtered in the field. And that wasn't what they wanted exactly. And that's why China hasn't been in a war since. It's also why, by the way, if you are one of those people who pay attention, that's why Chinese-Russian relations got super strained after that, and they never worked together since. Because China wasn't too keen on being used by the Soviets to do their dirty work, and the Soviets didn't trust China at all. It's why if you go back and you look into it, the entire idea that there was this communist conspiracy and communist powers working together, they really didn't. In fact, if you actually look at it, I'm trying to think here. Who was it during Vietnam? It was... Yes, Gregor. The Russians are kind of scared the Chinese are going to come back and take Manchuria. It was during the Vietnamese War. I think it was the Chinese funded the North Vietnamese, and the USSR told them to shut the fuck up and stop making problems for everyone. I believe. It might have been the other way around, but I think that's how it went. Is Norland any good? I don't even remember it, so you tell me. The, Russian idea during the Vietnamese War was that the North Vietnamese were just causing problems for everyone, and they just wanted them to stop. They were like, just stop it, shut the fuck up and stop it. Because the USSR was trying to integrate more successfully into the world, which was hard to do when there kept being these like communist wars and communist takeovers, etc., etc. A lot of people forget that issue. They're very much... Why do I keep putting my coal back? A lot of people think that like the communists were trying to take over the world. Nah, during the 60s, they were just trying to, like... They were trying to become a more modern state and, like, integrate into the world. The Soviets have... Because you have to remember, you know, when we're talking decades of time, a lot of people think, oh, 100 years. They must have had the same opinion for those 100 years. Well, no, obviously not. The Russians during the 60s and 70s were... really trying to not be seen as this evil invading power anymore. Let's say during the late 60s and 70s, they really didn't like being seen as the evil power of the world, so they were trying to get everyone to cool it, stop just stop. They were like, just stop, guys. Don't you have to pet the animals, chat? Don't you get like buffs? Well, you have to remember, it's because the Vietnamese oh, and by the way, before anyone thinks China was being like some really good guy trying to help Vietnamese independence, do remember that right after the Vietnamese War, that China then invaded Vietnam. A lot of people, again, even to this day, think that the communist powers were like some giga allied super bloc. I assure you they were not. They were fighting each other regularly. Maybe not fighting each other, but let's say opposing each other. There was also, we know about it because of some documents we read. After the fall of the USSR, there were some documents we could shift through and read. But China and Russia, the USSR, were actually coming close to war as well. Far from being this giga allied communist bloc, they were pretty much all acting independently. What a lot of people don't understand, the spread of communism was not the spread of communism. The spread of communism was the spread of anti-colonial behaviors, let's say. Now, who supported anti-colonial behaviors? During the 40s and 50s, America. Well, let's say during the 40s at any rate. During the 50s and 60s, America became extremely anti-communist. So even the Vietnam War kind of shuffled the world order again. I don't think... Copper bars, motherfucker. So America was originally kind of anti-France, because France never really fully committed to the American alliance. But they were originally pretty anti-France in Vietnam, right up until the Vietnamese were like, well, if the Americans won't help us go independent, we'll turn to communism. And that like flipped a switch, and America was like, communism? Communism? And the Vietnamese sent letters to America, and they're like, much like you, we desire independence for our people. And America spurred the fuck out and invaded and bombed the shit out of them. So, a lot of people get that, let's say, point in history wrong. It was not... The only people willing to help Vietnam throw off the colonizers were the communists, because the communists wanted to be an anti-colonial force. And so, yeah. Yeah, Vietnam used a lot of American quotes and shit. If you read Ken Burns' Vietnam documentary, it's actually super fucked up because Ho Chi Minh sent a shitload of letters to the US president explaining exactly what they wanted, what they intended, and how they wanted American help. And for some reason or another, you can have your own conspiracy theory on this, the US president's like, helpers never gave him the letters after looking at them. So the US presidents at the time never actually read from the Vietnamese what the Vietnamese wanted. In fact, if I can... Give me 1 second. I might be able to put this... As long as I don't show it, I don't think I'll get... demonetized or taken down. Give me 1 second. Hold on, hold on. I need to find the actual quote. Okay.
1919. In the spring of 1919, as the victorious Allied powers met in Paris to rebuild a world shattered by the Great War, President Woodrow Wilson headed the American delegation, housed in the Hotel Crillon. One day, a tall, slender, 29-year-old man appeared with a petition for the president he and other Vietnamese nationalists had written. Inspired by Wilson's declaration that the interests of colonial peoples should be given equal weight with those of their European rulers, the man was asking that this principle be applied to his homeland. The president's secretary promised to show it to Wilson. There is no evidence that he ever did. His name was Win Tat Tan, but he was now living under an alias, Win Ai Quoc. Win the Patriot. During his long, shadowy career, he would adopt some 70 different pseudonyms, finally settling on the most enlightened one, Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi Minh was a man who succeeded in...
There you go. Because a lot of the French... So Vietnam was like... maybe not Frenchifying is the right way to put it. But... you have to remember the way... So, it's complicated. But the correct way to put it is that during World War I and even into World War II, America was not really pro-Europe. They didn't really see themselves yet as, like, European. So, weakening Europe and strengthening themselves was beneficial to them, let's say. So... they kind of adopted, America kind of adopted anti-European oops, let's say policies. And one of those, of course, was then the idea of liberating all the peoples. It was only after World War II, definitely, with the advent of the Soviet Union. Okay, we need clay. That America stopped really being, let's say, anti-European and stopped really trying to free all the colonies and all that. But I think the British will tell you that America really beat the shit out of the Europeans and forcefully disbanded the colonial empires. For a good 30 years, that was the idea. The British in particular were very outraged by it because America kept beating the shit out of them and forcing them to give up parts of their colonial empire. I'm not getting any mud, am I? Well, clay at any rate. Is there a better place to get clay? I thought you just like dug around and you had like a chance to get clay. I'm not getting any clay here, Chad. I'm clayless. Okay, there's gotta be a better way, right? The British were super pissy. Because the Americans strangled them. Oh yeah, no, because you have to remember, Wilson, the USA did not want to go back into Europe again. And in fact, many people didn't even think we should have gone in there in the first place. Would Europe being ruled by Giga Germany be a good idea? Yeah, probably not. But a lot of people didn't really see it as a problem. And so when America spent manpower and resources...
has become a member. Passion Sheen.
So when a lot of people... when a lot of people look at post-World War I, it was pretty evident that the Americans wanted to weaken Europe, especially because Europe was seen as their primary enemy at the time. America was starting to make their own colonial empire as well, ruling over the Philippines, but World War II pretty much put an end to that. I'm trying to look for like things I can dig for clay, but I'm not seeing any. Huh. Am I like blind? I mean, I thought clay was easier to get than this. I just want to refill my supplies of clay. I have no clay. I think Europe needs to get their shit together and start adopting a unified European identity. Being French, German, Italian, that's not really working for them. So America was going to kick the Spanish out of the Philippines. Then they did. Then they were going to give the Philippines independence. Then they didn't. Then they ruled over the Philippines and kind of built it up for a bit. Then the Japanese invaded. And then America kind of adopted a, yeah, let's just let them go free idea. And the Philippines is... So the thing is, they kind of just gave the Philippines back to the Philippines. I don't really know a better way to put it. I don't think there's ever been an anti-colonial movement where the colony person with like no push, no like independence movement. Well, I mean, I suppose the Philippines probably did have an independence movement, just not a big one. America was just like, fuck it, just go free. They were technically free, but... And then they just... That's actually why the Philippines still have such a positive opinion of America, by the way. America ran in, built a bunch of shit up, and then just ran out after shooting a bunch of them and freeing them from the Japanese. The Philippines, confused, is just like, thank you? Okay, I'm trying to find anything to dig up, and I'm either blind or... It's because France... If you guys don't understand politics, post-World War II, Britain thought it was independent, France thought it was independent, Germany was going through some shit and needed some time alone. Britain slowly got pulled into the American influence until they became a semi-autonomous state. France, like, aggressively pursued their own independence. So France never really got pulled fully into the American political sphere. They got pulled into it, but not, let's say, fully. The Dutch were probably the least bad colonizers, followed by the French. Now, remind you, I am saying least bad, those of you who are about to attack me. American interests with colonies was never really... I don't know the right way to put it. America just never really got that interested in colonies, and then anytime there was an attempt at it, they just kind of gave up. I don't know if like giving up is the right way to put it, but like they just kind of... It was like there's just an apathy towards it. Like, we took over Puerto Rico, never made them a state, but we still give them money, independence, disaster relief. I don't really know a better way to put it. We conquered Hawaii, made them a state, gave them citizenship. We conquered the Philippines, built a bunch of schools, left. We occupied Japan, rebuilt them. We're still there. Japan doesn't get to do anything. Let's see. We conquered South Korea, let them exist. Now they're there. I'm not really sure. We just kind of left, got bored, moved on to the next thing. Took South Vietnam, left. Yeah, exactly, Quirku. It's like America gets like, they got like ADHD. I mean, I suppose that's what happens when you have a 4-year presidency, but they never see anything through. And I think that's why American colonies tend to not work, because like, they just get bored of it. They either give them statehood or they just let them exist. Like, does Puerto Rico even get taxed? They have to, right? Oh, wait, are they considered citizens if they're not in a state? Now I'm curious. the yeah, I don't know a better way to put it. American foreign policy has always just been very short-lived. How does democracy work in Puerto Rico? You know what? I'm gonna look this up because now are Puerto Ricans taxed? They pay the federal tax or Social Security and Medicare. I don't think there's an income tax. Oh, no, wait. What? Okay. It's very complicated because they're not part of a state. They're unincorporated. Many of them do not pay federal income taxes. Not all of them. So the problem, Mr. Correa, is that it's actually very beneficial for them because many of them do not actually pay taxes. Which is what I thought. And the problem is that because many of them don't pay taxes, they actually don't want to become a state. Because, again, we give them disaster relief. We take care of them. I mean, could we take care of them more? Sure. But, like, at the end of the day, it's not like a very rich area, right? And the thing is, we don't... Like, I mean, here, let me look at this. Puerto Rico statehood vote. Can I look at the vote? Okay, so right now Puerto Rico, so 2024 they did a referendum. 58% voted to be a state, 29% voted for free association as it is now, 11% voted for independence. Why the fuck would they vote for independence? Do they know what would happen? So even now, they only have 58% want to become a state. Let's see. On actual polls, they vote higher for statehood. But on opinions, they seem to vote under 50% for statehood. So if you force an opinion, they'll vote statehood, but if you don't force an opinion, they kind of just go, eh. Oh, so, okay, so people living in Puerto Rico vote under 50% to be state, yeah. The US government is very large, very, very large, very, very, very large, and controls a lot. And there's federal funding for everything. That's why the current Elon Musk Trump thing seems to be nothing more than Trump and Elon Musk trying to obliterate America as being a first world power. Because a lot of people think this giant government is just stealing all your money to do nothing, but it's not. That's why they're having so much issues disbanding it without just obliterating people's way of life. A lot of people who are air quote federal workers aren't people you'd think are federal workers. A lot of people who are getting federal funds aren't the people you think are getting federal funds. Like, there's also shit like Elon Musk isn't taking away his own, Man, I cannot find mud. I just want to refresh my supply of mud. I can't find any. Elon Musk is not removing his own beneficiaries from the government. Contract work. Yeah, there's a lot of shit the US government does that people don't think it does. And that's actually one of the big issues. Yep. So that's one of the problems, is that a lot of poor people don't realize that everyone in the US is poor and they're all on Medicaid. And that, like, that's Obamacare and shit like that. And so a lot of them think that everyone else is getting free Medicaid, because it's not, it's not like an education problem. It's like an understanding problem. It's like these people need, like, to sit down and actually have shit told to them. It's because, okay, so I can explain this one, New Fire. Basically, because everyone's on health insurance, the health insurance companies can charge a shitload of money because everyone has health insurance or everyone has Medicaid, etc., etc. So they charge a shitload of money, but the average person isn't expected to pay that much. The government is expected to pay that much because people want surgery or they want something, so the government pays for it, and then the companies go, oh, that's gonna be $12 quadrillion. Well, yeah, so realistically, the correct thing that these companies need to do is die and be taken over by the US government, who pays for all that shit anyway. And then, yeah. But a lot of people seem to think the government owning healthcare will be bad. We should keep it in charge of private corporations who have financial incentive to deny ever giving out healthcare. Wait a minute. Yeah, you can charge everything because the US government's gonna pay for it. I don't know a better way to phrase it. What am I doing here? I don't really have anything to do. We take care of the animals. We take care of the animals. We take care of everything. We've got the farmhouse being built. We got the we got the silo being built, so we can't build there. The plants are growing, so we can't sell that. The animals, I pet them every morning, so we should be good there. So now what? I think that's the biggest issue, though, facing US politics, is a lot of people don't have a fundamental understanding of everything and just get mad because people told them to get mad. I mean, okay, what's the best way to get mud? Because I'm definitely going to need, sorry, not mud, clay. Because I'm definitely going to need more clay if I want to do more construction, but I literally can't find any. Am I going crazy? I farmed during the rainstorm and I was like hoeing the shit out of the ground and I couldn't find clay. So now I'm wondering if I even... How do you get clay? Am I blind? I think, again, there really just needs to be... Like, get PBS or something to explain things to everyone. Although I guess getting political that early in people's lives would be seen as a bad thing. But it wouldn't even be politics. It would just be like, let's describe shit for people. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Oh, it's okay. The U.S. uses Puerto Rico for the most important thing imaginable. A free supply of Latina singers for our pop, pop music. Well, that's also what makes Puerto Rico weird. It's not really, like, attached to the U.S. It's kind of, like, out there. Oops. Most people don't even know we have Puerto Rico. They think of Puerto Rico as, like, a city in Florida or something. But, nope. Well, yeah, we could go to the desert area. Level 8 mining, pickaxe proficiency, mega bomb. Huh. Okay, I guess we do the animal stuff, and then we go do mining in desert land. Why are you unhappy? Why is Cowsley grumpy? Jay, why is Cowsley grumpy? Why is he grumpy? What did you guys do to Cowsley? You would not be grumpy if your name was Cowsley. You'd be happy. Okay? You'd be like, oh boy, I love my name of Cowsley. Everyone loves being Cowsley. Oh wait, no, that's right, no, yeah, we gotta go fix a desert bus. I've heard the best explanation for Kennedy and measles. It actually makes a lot of sense. I think Republicans don't know that measles isn't chickenpox. And they think everything they say about measles actually makes sense. I think everything makes sense if you think about it. If they think that they're talking about chickenpox, not ultra deadly disease measles, but everything they're saying makes sense if you just replace measles with chickenpox. People used to have measles parties. No, they didn't. They had chickenpox parties. Everyone used to get infected with measles so they could build an immunity. No, that's chickenpox. Everything they say is for chickenpox, not measles. I think they're literally too stupid to realize that measles isn't chickenpox. Increase a gem of your choice and it will grow copies. What does that even mean? What is a gem? Yeah, chickenpox is something that everyone wants to get infected by early because then you build an immunity. Wait, didn't I get the bus repaired? Are you kidding me? Wait, so I put in a ruby and get free rubies. Wait, should I do diamond or rubies? I gotta look at them. Chickenpox gets deadlier the older you get, yes. Hence why everything they're saying makes sense. So I have to respond to someone that's wrong on Reddit. Someone in the AOW forum said that you should spam calamity dragons, and I was like, are you kidding me? You get 1 to 2 per battle. What are you doing? Is Reddit a safe space? Depends on which subreddit. The only safe space subreddit I've seen is the conservative one, which, holy shit. The conservative subreddit is like going into hyper mega overtime because like conservatives are sitting there like, yeah, aren't these policies really fucking stupid? Someone tell me why these aren't stupid. And someone's like, they are stupid. And they're like, what? But no, Trump good? How bad? Oh yeah, holy shit, the Luigi thing. People are literally getting banned for upvoting Luigi memes. I'm waiting, chat. Simpsons subreddit is gonna get banned because I started to test the system really hard. The problem is okay, I can explain this best. A lot of people don't know this. Prevailing public opinion has been progressive for quite some time. It takes a lot of wording choices and it takes a lot of trickery to get people to not vote for progressive causes, for the most part. If you look at, like, let's say America had forced 100% voting, it would be something like 60 to 65% of people would vote Democrat. That's why Republicans are engaged so much in voter suppression. The less people that vote, the better it goes for Republicans. So why am I saying that? Because if we go into Reddit, if everybody upvotes or downvotes things, the prevalent public opinion will of course be progressive. And so a lot of people say there's censorship, they're trying to stop, they're pushing a liberal agenda. But that's not what's happening. It's just liberal agendas are just more popular. Luigi didn't shoot an innocent man. He shot one of history's greatest mass murderers. Plus, to say he shot anyone is wrong. I don't think he did. Dude, I'm trying to find clay. I'm like going crazy. I'm checking every day. I'm going nuts. I literally can't find clay. Wait, Oh, I don't have my hoe with me! Wait, I can fix this. There's a teleporter thing here. Can you please be in service? I paid you. You're too lazy to search the crimes. So number one, he built an AI system so that an AI could automatically deny medical coverage to people because he could figure out some way that their thing wasn't covered. The law is the law. That's not true. The law is very malleable. Plus, here in the US, we actually have a way to deal with that. It's called the not guilty clause, wherein when somebody does something, you can just go, not guilty. Well, that's not clay. There's also the fact that there were a shitload of programs that were making the news for being extremely unethical coming from the medical industry, and all of them got canceled after the dude got shot. Now, I'm not trying to promote violence, chat, by any stretch of the imagination. Violence is bad, okay? But it seems to have been the only thing that's gotten results lately. Which is interesting.
Hey Noob donated 5 Brazilian reais through Super Chat. Mario. We got to send a message, Mario. The people need a better healthcare.
Don't say it's bad, but hey, I'm not trying to get demonetized or anything over here. I'm saying let's not be violent, chat. But it is interesting that we've gotten the most results through violence and no results through non-violence. I'm just saying it's interesting. It's an observation. Could anyone deny my observation, chat? Okay, we got nothing to do again today. Huh. Oh wait, I was supposed to be doing something that day. Oh, I'm a fool. I'm a fool, chat. I was supposed to be scything some shit. See, chat, all those rocks and shit I cut out? And now look at that. Fully grown, baby. What do you mean growing friendships? Chat, I'm farming. Isn't it called farm do farby? Okay, I'm farming. Huh. There really was not that much hay, but I cleaned the field. I thought I did. I cleaned the field a lot. Did I clean up all the rocks and shit? I thought I did. Everything should be trees back here. Chat, I gave the trees so much land. There was nothing, I didn't do anything to them. Did you see all the shit like I've cleaned up? Like I removed all their rocks. I've made their life better, chat. Yes, some of them have died. But that's a price I should be willing to pay. See, look at this. All the rocks and shit, they're gone. They get free tree estate. Jen, I always do the virgin playthrough of games, okay? Sex is distracting. It lets you get in the way of your real plan. My plan? A cranberry empire. An entire business, nay, a country founded on the principle of using a shitload of cranberries to fuel an empire. I've already got all my week planned out, New Fire. Step 1. Stardew Valley. Probably until I'm done with the community center. After that, I'm not really sure. Step 2. Well, probably the Stellaris expansion. Well, not expansion, but 4.0 beta this weekend. But I'm kind of don't have high hopes for that. It looks really bad. I played a bit of it, and oh boy. Does not seem like they intended that to be playable, which is, you know, fine. The Spirit's Eve? Well, chat, how do I even make friends and shit with people? I don't know how to do that. Party animals? Oh, we played their new update. I don't know of any other game that's done like an update or anything like that. You guys pretty much give 50-60 viewers to any game these days, which is nice. I'm hoping the Warhammer update releases this week, but we're already Wednesday and there's no news. Unless some news comes out later today. So I got at in Discord. I thought it might have been Total War. Nope. God. It's all just CK3 and Path of Exile 2 competing for who can spam news better. Oh, Swivende. Yeah, I think because I haven't released any news for the Total Warhammer update, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume it's not here. Fire, you don't even play the game. Bro, I was like, damn it, they took down my AI patch. Yeah, when did you even play it, Fire? Do 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 do. Okay, chat, we're now going to the desert. A cactus fruit. What do you do? Warp Totem Desert Recipe. Dark Piano. The Dark Piano. Wait, what's over here? Question mark. I knew it. Should I get a better pickaxe? I probably need a better pickaxe for this area, right? Why is there a dragon? Did I just get copper? Die, monster. You don't belong in this world. Alright, these guys respawn. Don't you need to, like, bomb them or something to get them to stay dead? That's just annoying. Dude, where is the way down? I'm being memed. What the fuck are you talking about, Nahida? We done the skull mine? Isn't this the skull mine? What, is there an even scullier mine? A hole? Huh. Okay. Yep. Trump continues to do his best impression of someone trying to obliterate the US as an international power. Okay, I'm just gonna get out of here. I'm gonna pick up all these fruit though. Back to the past of the town! I mean, here's a question, Scragger. Are they gonna have another game number 3 in a row, where inevitably the nomads are actually a serious, legitimate challenge, but because throughout 500 years they never get any technology, they fall off a cliff and can't do anything? Or will they give them some, like, artisan goods, wine, cheese, oil, etc.? No, crops grow faster. Are they gonna have some sort of, like, alternative system? Because there comes a point, it's not even by, basically by the time Genghis would even appear, the civilized societies will have surpassed them so hard. Okay. Auto grabber. Marnie. 1 second, I need to go to the bathroom. I also need to get some water here. Okay, let me be right back. Everybody coming out with Discord ads and news and all that shit today. Scragger, unless they come up with a system for pruning save files, I think this basically just kills multiplayer outright. Cause, yeah. So you said copy diamonds. Oh, it's still copying. I don't think that... Unfortunately, I don't think that, I was gonna say, I don't think that making the save files 500 gigs to give us Chinese characters. At the very least, is there maybe a game option to disable large sections of the world? Where's chicken number 4? Oh, there it is. I don't think chickens lay an egg every day. That'd be a lot. Are they adding... So are they adding China and Japan? Are they adding anything else? No, yep. Pacific Islands. Oh, can we all play Filipinos and annoy Stephens? Okay. Are they gonna do anything about the men-at-arms system, or like will Japan still be using like a European army? Please determine the driver is present. Well, where is she? Ugh. Okay, now what do I do? Shoot. I need a better weapon. That's what I need, chat. Is there any... Can I go to the Fighty Man Guild and be like... Oh my god. Okay. So you can go landless into nomad. Can I just be Norman nomads and abuse their shit to completely break the game? Because horse archers are getting pretty out of date at this point. I don't think they can keep up with the levels of power creep the game has had. That's another question. They're gonna have to give buffs to horse archers if they want nomads to stay relevant. Because, even with their unique building and all that, they get outdated pretty quick. Like, they stay relevant for the early game, they're pretty efficient. By mid-game, they're basically there to beat up heavy infantry. And by late game, just because their building gives so fewer stats, they just get obliterated. Alright, they need to be 2 p.m. Was Norman nomadic people? Not really. I guess in a way you could argue it, but all right, fix the bridge. I don't know how. I mean, I'm doing my best here, chat. I need exotic foraging. We need coconut, cacutas, and then we need the spring, and then we need the winter. We can't do anything until then. We got the fish tank, but I don't see the tiger trout. Tiger trout! You posted the roadmap from Discord. Okay. You couldn't have just screenshot? Okay. March 12th. Oh, okay. Crowns of the World. Well, have they put in the new expansion? The patch? Because I was kind of interested in that patch. It did make the game look like a lot better. I think in particular, the thing I liked about that patch was a buff. It's a small thing, but they do buff... Wait, the patch is out now? Today? Wait, chat, I might have to go play that today. I kind of have awkwardly... I looked through all the patch notes, but I assumed it was coming out like tomorrow. Oh, shit. Hold on. Chat, this might be an awkwardly short stream here if that patch was out. I was kind of looking forward to playing that. Crusader Kings always gets decent views. Oh my god, it's just old fucking videos. No, it's Medieval Monument. It's not the next patch. Oh, for fuck's sake. Surely Warhammer didn't randomly update, did they? No, this is not it being out, right? Yeah, this is 6.1 preview. You still need to take the Bleakhold Fortress, though. That shit is, like, impossible to do in a multiplayer campaign. Well, that doesn't have... Skregor, that doesn't have the update with, like, the secondary jobs, right? Like, because in Crusader Kings, you got your main council, which is basically based on Game of Thrones. By the way, that's true. In CK3, that's all based on the Game of Thrones. Literally. That's not actually how it worked in history completely. They just did it because Game of Thrones did it. So, like, they were like, cool, Game of Thrones. Okay, let's look at this update to Total War. Yeah, we're flipping between, like, 5 different games here, Chad. Okay. Oh, they're releasing on the 25th? Dude, that's way too late. You kidding me? Oh. Huh. Oh, they moved it back. Sons of bitches. What do they got here? Wait, so update 6.1 won't even have the AI update? Oh, no, the query system changes are going live with 6.1. Oh. So they're not doing anything. This is gonna, well, okay. Basically, oh, for fuck's sake. So basically, Empire players are rat fucking us again. I hate Empire plays. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Elector counts making the entire system fall apart. Hmm. I don't know. That's annoying. Basically, the problem seems to be Empire players' complaints. So they're removing a significant needed system in the game. So there's no Total War patch. There's no CK3 patch with at least the content I want. Which is weird because I remember reading... I mean, I'm hoping if CK3 just updated, does that actually have... Does that actually have the updates that I was hoping for? No, this is the entire changelog, so there's nothing. Huh. It's just clothing and buildings. That's frustrating. I remember reading a giant ass patch note they were gonna do. With like the clan update and everything, I was looking forward to playing like as one of the Muslims without having a rat-fucked government. Yeah, they had a whole update note and list. Yeah, so wait, what happened to all that? Are they just not doing that? They don't, like normally when they release patch notes, then where's my goddamn update? They got all the patch notes and shit. Okay, so it's 1.15.0. Is that the patch, or did they release a minor patch before that one? I think I'd be legitimately annoyed if they did that. If it's not 1.15.0. Yeah, because that's worth playing. That's worth doing like a stream for today on, actually, unironically. Because that has all the updates I wanted to see. Hold on, chat. I'm deciding what I want to do with my day, because it's still pretty early in the day. Holy fuck, that's expensive. Well, let me ask it, dude. Hey. Yeah, Scragger. I saw the expansion pass and I literally went to message the Paradox community manager being like, hey, can I get like a review free, not pay for that shit? I wish they would be specific. Like, why would they put out these patch notes and shit? Because like there was some cool shit. Ugh, how annoying. I don't think this is it. I think they did a weird bug fix. I think they did a weird bug fix patch. Okay, because Scragger is increasingly incompetent, chat. Boy, I have to end the day. Hold on. Hold on, chat. Scragger's computer is apparently made out of moths. So I'm gonna take a save, which means ends the day. Okay, does it say 1.15.1, Scragger? Because that should be it, and then that should... Well, what did they promise? Let me look here. Is realm maintenance in? Because that was actually rather significant, because holy shit, that stuff started to make me want to die if I ever got that game delayed. That should have the new... Okay. Because we might be able to do something funny today, Scragger.
This should be it, right? This is the thing? This is the UI they showed off. I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yeah, okay, so it's got the new positions. Can you click in as a Muslim real quick? Did they do the update where you don't want to kill
your... I am a Muslim.
Okay, so open, like, the tax jurisdictions. That should be buffed. Oh, okay, okay, wait. Open up the... Yeah. Like, open up the type. You click the picture, I think. Wait, is it? No, change tax decree. No, yeah, you had it there. Okay, so these should be buffed. Look at
this is it, yeah.
Okay, so that's actually... Okay, so maybe I'll do Crusader Kings today, then. Sorry, chat. I kind of wanted to try this update because... I mean, you guys know me. I like Crusader Kings. It's just like... Especially if you're trying to do, like, a large empire. Holy shit, it gets so bad. The micro is so bad.
This thing seems crazy, by the way.
The new tax system?
To Iran, specifically.
Okay, so basically what happened is the tax system seemed overpowered in theory, so they kept it, like, very strong, but they thought it was, like, overpowered, so they didn't ever buff it. But they found out over time it actually wasn't really that strong, and particularly the AI was just dying. It couldn't compete. So even though it looks really broken in theory, feudalism ended up beating clan pretty consistently.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you don't know, despite the fact that feudalism in theory should be weaker, clan needs to ally, not just like work with, but ally their major. Well, they needed to ally every vassal before, so that was impossible. But now they only need to ally the big players, but the big players are still they're going to get up to like 5, then 10, then 20 big players, you know?
Well, isn't powerful families only Duke plus?
Yes.
What's A?
But the thing is, you still need to like ally 10 people, which gets difficult. Because
is it? Can't you? Didn't they change it so that they're happy even if you take them as a second or a third wife?
well, no. The big thing is okay, that is fine. It's the allying powerful vassals. You have to actually marry away to them, which A gets really hard to track and tedious, and then B, well, that means you can't just win with the people in chat. I assure you, Crusader Kings is an adult game for men and isn't just a fetish game. But yes, it's kind of an incest fetish simulator, and Muslims ironically have the most difficulty doing incest.
PK3 is Stardew Valley for men.
It's so awkward how they just like blatantly made incest overpowered to where everyone needs to abuse it, and you're just like, cool, kind of weird though.
Shit. Muslims are giga rich now. What the fuck? You're telling me this little area is worth 41.6? You fucking what, mate?
They should. Well, because that's North India.
Nah, but like this? Just this?
There's probably as many people in that state as like all of Afghanistan.
Okay, so what about worth £2.50?
Why is incest OP? Okay, it's because the devs, okay, I can actually explain this in video game terms. The devs gave you dynasty bloodlines, and one of the bloodlines gives you, yeah, we're gonna do Crusader Kings today, Jake, because it's got a new patch. The devs added dynasty bloodlines, and one of the bloodlines gives you a chance to inherit good traits better, but what by default that's already like top tier. But what they never did is if you marry someone of your dynasty who also has this bonus, it gets doubled, because then both the mother and the father of this. So then what it does is basically reduce the chance of having an inbred child to 0 while making the chance of inheriting good traits like 100%. So if all you do is incest spam your family, you double these bonuses, and it just becomes outrageously overpowered, and every single child is like a Herculean genius. I don't even know. They're just, you basically just get an entire family of beautiful geniuses with Amazonian Herculean strength, and it's just...
It's the easiest way to trait max.
Yeah, it's just really overpowered. It's stupid. It's frustrated me since day one, because you basically just incest spam until you win, and it's weird. Basically the opposite of real life, yes. Okay, well, I guess I could play this. Did they... Okay, so if they actually added everything in the expansion, then... Let's see here. What would be the most fun to play?
Probably somewhere in North Africa.
Yeah. So did they say, were all the extra monuments and shit, is that free? Medieval monuments.
Did they say it would be free?
Well, I don't know. I don't see
a DLC for it, so...
Let's see, I got...
No, it's not free, you have to buy it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's £4.29.
Those bitches.
what's that like? $73 million.
Well, because I gotta get the Arctic attire, the Slavic attire, like, ugh.
Can you not just get the chapter pass and that gives you everything, or does it not include the...
Chapter pass includes Crowns of the World only.
What, the worst one that nobody gives a fuck about?
Yeah, I don't know. I got the last chapter pack, didn't I? I'm confused. So why don't I have this shit? Is this just like not in the chapter pack? Dude, how much money do they need to not add anything to this game ever?
Oh, it's because these are content creator packs specifically to support the creator. That's why they're not included.
So they can't even make their own content? They gotta outsource it?
Apparently.
Bro, how hard is it to... Okay, I'm like losing my mind because how hard is it really to develop content for this game? I'm starting to get curious. It cannot be that hard.
I mean, considering they've apparently spent the last year working on China and like Asia, probably pretty difficult for them.
Oh boy. Okay,
So I'm going to assume buying this DLC is straight pay to win because all the buildings are Giga Special.
well, presumably the AI could build at it, but it's a bit... Okay, so one of the reasons I was actually curious about this is because assigning the court positions, it said it would buff your vassals a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious because normally you just assign it to whatever, but like if you could... let's say you start landing your children and you start putting them on the court positions and stuff. Because like the one that reduces the build cost looks kind of nutty. I'm wondering if you'll actually end up getting vassals strong enough to do anything or not, you know?
Potentially.
They also said, did they nerf administrative or something?
Did they say they were going to do that?
Well, let me think here. God, North Africa looks terrible to play. Honestly, one of the problems with Muslims in this game, they do not have a lot of, what's the right way to put this? Land that's fun to play in. Because like most of it's owned by some big giga empire, or it's in Andalusia where like you automatically win. And that's about it. Yeah. Huh.
Honestly, the thing I'm most looking forward to is the army automation. Like, I
Oh,
don't
right.
they're fucking microing my stacks around anymore. That's good.
I sound terrible? How do I sound terrible? Okay, chat, I'm gonna start a new stream here in a second. I need to figure out what to play, though. I don't know what to play. Honestly, if nothing else, Islam being able to play without being Giga Stewardship would be nice. But then the problem is domain. You would just have to go Giga Stewardship anyway. Man, devs really... It's like this game is fundamentally flawed and they've never fixed it. Okay, well, I'm gonna go play this.
Okay.
See ya. Well, yeah, it's an annoying issue, Mr. Korean numbers. It's a real issue. No, I mean, I'll just have a new stream chat. Just sit